I'm Sheriff Alfonzo Williams with the Burke County Sheriff's Office. Thank you so much for tuning in. We do appreciate your time and attention as we come to you and tell you what's happening in Burke County. We've had a lot going on. Unfortunately, some of it not so positive, but many other positive things happening in the county. We have a great team of dedicated people who are willing to serve you and help you. And we believe in that. That's essentially who we are. The very essence of who we are is that we're servants of the people. We love you. We appreciate you. Thank you for your support. So many of you write to me on a weekly basis, and you tell me that you appreciate what we're doing. You tell us that you appreciate our deputies, that our response times are better, that our deputies look professional, they show up, and they get the job done. We really do have a great team. You can be very proud of what we have in this county. As I like to say, you can trust us, and you can trust our product. What's our product? Service and protection. Look, that's where we are. In this 21st century of policing, we understand that we have better be connected to the community and that we have to work every day to make deposits into what I call the bank of trust. And we are hoping to get some interest, some dividends on those, some equity, if you will, on those deposits. Those deposits are our connections to the community, faster response times, better educated officers. That's what we need to keep you safe. And we are working hard to keep you safe. And I think we do a very good job at it. So I want to thank my team for the help, the work that they do day in and day out. And I like to say to them that if you will get out and you will serve this community and you will have a good product and you will do all that you can to be proactive and to respond when we can't prevent it in a very positive way, and we'll stay connected and we'll return phone calls and we will help people and we will serve them, then any of the negativity that you hear is overshadowed by that positivity. We are intentional about our leadership at the Burke County Sheriff's Office, and we're working hard every day to grow our employees, to take care of our employees, to coach them, mentor them, encourage them, help them, nurture them, expose them, grow them, train them, and educate them. We're doing that every day. It starts on the inside of the agency and then works its way outward into the community. And that is what we're doing every day. It's what we're intentional about. We don't get distracted with all the negativity because we wouldn't be able to do all the things I just enumerated. So that's where we are. That's what we're doing. Look, we have a weekly radio address here on 92.9 The Soul Mine. We have our own Burke County Sheriff's Office YouTube channel. We have our own podcast. And we do those three things each week. In addition to that, we are posting on our Facebook page. We have a public relations director or public information officer, Claire Allen, who is keeping up our Facebook page, our Burke County Sheriff's Office page every day. We have a LinkedIn page. We have an Instagram. We're letting you know what's happening in our community. We're letting you know how involved we are. We're letting you know that we care for you, that we love you, that we're here to serve you, and that's important. Equally as important is a matter that we're having to deal with in the county with regards to our budget. You keep hearing from a few sources that we are poised to be $1 million over budget by the end of our fiscal year, which is September 30th. Our budget runs from October 1 to September 30. We have 2 months left in the year. I sent out a letter on Monday, August 6th, or 7th, to the commissioners, and I sent it out to the mass media, telling them that we have grave concerns about the safety of our officers and the safety of the community based on some decisions that have been made recently. 3 things have caused us to go outside the scope of our budget. 3 things, and I need you to understand these 3 things. 1, we had a death row inmate who was remanded back to the county for his 5th trial where he killed his girlfriend and his girlfriend's daughter 20-something years ago here in Burke County. The Georgia Court of Appeals overturned his conviction, and he had to be tried for a fifth time. He is much older, he is in poor health, and a Superior Court judge signed an order demanding that we provide 24-hour nursing care to him. Before we had to do that, we had 12 nursing contract that provided nursing care to our inmates 12 hours a day at a cost of $225,000 per year. After that mandate, we had to renegotiate the contract, and the county commission signed that contract after it was approved by the county attorney chosen by the Burke County Sheriff's Office, but it took our nursing contract from $225,000 a year to $600,000 a year. That's $400,000. We did not get a single dime from the commission to pay for that mandate from the Superior Court judge. I don't have an extra $400,000 laying around in my budget to sustain that kind of an order from the court. There's no way I have. Out of a $10 million budget, I only have about $400,000 that I have discretion over. Well, that has to last all year. It's for training and supplies and equipment and repairs and vehicle repairs and maintenance. There is no way I could take, if I took that whole $400,000 and put it on the nursing contract, we could do nothing else. We could not exist. We could not fix anything. We could not buy office supplies. We could not buy equipment. We could not send deputies to training. We could not do any of the community services that we do. We would literally just be showing up at work and doing nothing. And you know that's not possible. So we're in the process of talking to an attorney to figure out if we can go back and approach that Superior Court judge and ask if Her Honor would require the county to fund the sheriff's office for that mandate. It is unfair to believe that the county commission and the county manager would expect the sheriff's office to take on that $400,000 debt without giving us the funds to do so. Secondly, number two, the court bailiffs, the court security, courthouse security was always paid for through the Superior Court clerk's budget. That's the Honorable Redita Smith. Her office budget always had court services contained in it. On last year, the county manager decided to move those officers and security folks from the Superior Court budget to the Burke County Sheriff's Office budget. It gave the appearance that he was giving us more money to operate when in fact he was just moving them from one budget to another. He moved them from the Burke County Superior Court clerk's budget to the Burke County Sheriff's Office budget. In doing so, he shorted us $200,000 in basic salaries. $200,000 shortage going from the Superior Court clerk's budget to the Burke County Sheriff's Office budget. So it's setting us up for failure immediately if you don't give us enough money for basic salaries. Folks, listen, I didn't go out and hire a bunch more personnel for court security and court services outside of what Madam Clerk had when she had them under her budget. Now listen, the court security, the court bailiffs are all sheriff's employees, but they were paid from the Clerk of Superior Court's budget because every county has a Superior Court, and a function of the sheriff is to supply security for the court. but they were paid from a different fund. Now they're paid from my budget, but when the money was ported over from the clerk's budget to the sheriff's office budget, the county manager shorted us $200,000. Again, at no negligence of my own, we were shorted that money. So it's no wonder we're poised to be over budget by the end of the fiscal year. Number three, there's only 3 items. Stay with me. The third issue is approximately 6 months before the new budget started last year, 6 months in advance, I put the commission and the county manager and the chief superior court judge, the chief probation officer for our area, on notice that due to the number of inmates being injured and the medical bills associated with those injuries, the number of employees who were being injured, employees who were abusing sick leave, calling in sick, morale was low, professional fatigue had set in, they were burnt out because of overcrowding in the jail, and just the fact that our jail is 34 years old, it doesn't allow for classification. And in the detention center, without going too much into this, we have a classification system. You don't want to mix misdemeanors and misdemeanants and felons together because we have a duty to protect all of our inmates. Or you don't want to put a violent felon with a property crimes felon particularly. We don't want to mix mental health with the general population. We don't want to have sick people with well people. But because our jail is so old, we still have the old bars where if a guard walked up to the bar, you can easily douse urine or feces on them, or you can assault them through the bars, punch them, slap them. The detention center needs to be torn down and rebuilt. And we have had 4 architects, the Georgia Sheriff's Association, and the Burke County Grand Jury to all give that opinion. And I've shared that with the commission. And they've set aside some $4 million to build a new facility, but in 2023, a new facility for the size that we'll need costs $22 million. 6 years ago, 6.5 years ago, when I took office, we had an estimate of $12 to $15 million. For every day, every month, every year that the citizens of Burke County allow the county manager and the commission to delay building a facility, the more it's going to cost. We've got to do something. And I understand they're putting some money aside, but they're not putting it aside fast enough to save you money in the long run. It's not that the sheriff wants a new jail. It's that the sheriff and the citizens of this county need a new facility. It's not a want, it is a need. So, because of all of those things I just said to you, we explained to the Chief Superior Court Judge, the Chief Probation Officer, and the Burke County Commission and County Manager that we had to house out some 50 to 60 inmates. We were only going to keep 75 in our county jail instead of 130. And it's costing us $50,000 per month to do that. But the law, the Georgia law, is very specific, and it says that if the sheriff cannot keep inmates safely and prevent harm, then we are authorized to house them out to other facilities that can. That's why we went from keeping 130 inmates a day to only 75. And it's costing us $50,000 a month to do so. $550,000 we've paid so far this calendar year. So if you add the 3 items I just talked to you about, $550,000 for housing out inmates, $400,000 that we were shorted because they didn't fund the inmate medical mandate, and $200,000 we were shorted when the courthouse security personnel were ported over to our budget from the clerk's budget That's $1.2 million. So when you're hearing all these stories about the sheriff is out of control, the sheriff is spending recklessly, the sheriff is poised to be over budget, those three items has created the shortage. Now, it's a new day. It's a different day. We're policing differently than we ever have. We're not even policing today the way we did 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. Now you have a gang rival situation. You'll have 5, 10 gang members on each side fighting or shooting. Well, you can't house those people together, so we have to house them out in other counties. We keep a few free inmates for one county. That county keeps a few, up to 10 free inmates for us. And after those 10, they charge. We're doing all we can to swap favors and to help to save money. But we've got to address the need. I need the community to get involved. I need you to get in behind us. I need you to call me. Come sit down and talk with me. I'll come out and sit down and talk to you. I'll talk to your social group, your civic group, your church, your neighborhood watch. I'll come out and explain all of this to you, and I'll take your questions. In January of this past year, we held a public forum. I brought in all of our leadership team, our command staff. I brought in local, state, and federal law enforcement partners, and we served breakfast. And I explained to you what we have been doing in the Burke County Sheriff's Office. We issue an annual report, a written booklet that explains in detail everything we've done for the year. And we've done that since I took office in 2017. We are accountable. We are responsible. We are doing all we can to help the taxpayers of Burke County. Did you know this? Did you know that in the 6 years I've been sheriff that we've brought in nearly $10 million in local, state, and federal grant funding? $10 million in 6 years. I submit to you that we're the only department that's done so. Our efforts to keep safe the people of Burke County are paying off. We are below the national average and the state average when it comes to crime. Our property crimes are below average. Our violent crimes are below the state and national average. That is huge. Our response times to service calls 6.5 years ago when we got here, it was 30 to 45 minutes. We're down to 9 to 13 minutes on average. In the second largest county in the state of Georgia, land-wise. That is huge. I'll ask you, how much does it cost to go from having a 30 to 45 minute response time down to 9 to 13 minutes? I'll ask a second question. What does it cost to have the feeling of safety? Because look at it this way. I can talk to you all day about crime statistics. But if the community doesn't feel safe, the numbers don't matter to you. It's the feeling of safety.